Russell Wilson threw for 414 yards, which is the second most of his career. He also threw 3 touchdowns in the win and is now 5-1 as the Steelers' starting quarterback. So, Key, do my Steelers finally have an elite quarterback?
Yeah, in the 6 games that he's played this year, we can say he's playing at an elite level. They do. They got it right. Mike Tomlin got it right. When we all but look, it's hard to act as though Justin Fields was just stinking up the joint, because he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He was playing pretty good football for where he was in Chicago. But then Mike Tomlin, as I said, they see everything in the building we don't. He knew that that Russell Wilson could add something special to the passing game, and then they need to change the pace. They bring in Justin Fields and run a few plays here and there. Najee Harris got going a little bit. I think Russell Wilson has something special. I honestly do. I think that they can really push in the AFC between Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo to be in New Orleans. It's going to be one of them 3 teams out of the AFC that'll be in New Orleans representing the AFC. He's back, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing. When you look at the numbers of, well, let's talk about Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. Obviously, we're going to take.
You can even throw Mahomes in there.
Well, we can take Mahomes out for this year. I mean, we know what Patrick Mahomes is, and we know what he is in the postseason. His numbers this year aren't spectacular, but we know that those are the elite quarterbacks in the league, so I'm not having Mahomes in this for that reason. But 5-1, his completion percentage is on par with all of them. Total yards per game on par with all of them. Passing touchdowns per game on par with all of them. Turnovers the same. Passer rating the same as those guys who are the top of the league and in the MVP conversation. Obviously, Burrow's down this year, but he's still putting up big numbers. So when you're talking about elite level play, that is what Russ is doing. And it's because he's in the perfect situation for Russell Wilson. He's got a running game. He's got a great defense. He's got a Hall of Fame coach. He's got a team that has a culture and standards and expectations and a fan base that understands what type of ball they play. And he has Mike Tomlin guiding the ship and being the face of the organization, which Russell doesn't have to be. When he went to Denver, he had to do everything. Right. And he was doing it with a coach that had never been a head coach before. If Nathaniel Hackett had head coaching experience and was able to steady the ship, maybe it would have been a little bit different. I think that's the difference between the Steelers being a good team that is able to make it to the postseason and having a winning season every year to being a team that is very serious and in contention for a Super Bowl. He's the difference. When you can have elite quarterback level play with experience, who understands this, who's been in a situation and won like this before, that's everything. That's the difference between the Steelers being contenders and just being a good team.
And the thing, Michael knows this too. Like you said, it's all about him, but it's also about those receivers. Because those receivers are working for him because they know, I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to get an opportunity to get the rock. So they out there busting their rear ends to get open. Where
talent matchup.
Yeah, so now, in the past, it's like, well, I don't even know if I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to be running my route, and the dude is going to run the ball.
Man, never get that.
May never get the ball.
Right, and think about George Pickens, right? What we're seeing, and I watched a game the other day, and he did it a couple times. Last few weeks, he's done it. Him and Russ is syncing up so well on that deep ball, right? We were loving George Pickens for his ability to go up and get the 50-50 ball, make it an 80-20 or, 80-20 because he has that ability. But he hadn't been needing to do that. Those balls been dropping right in there. He's moving his game forward too now. You notice Key, how he just wait. He's not jumping to get it 50-50. Late hands now because that ball dropping out the sky perfectly right in his lap. And he's just late handing that thing now. It really is the talent match is perfect with what they're doing. And Najee Harris, we talk about what Mike Tomlin says to George Pickens and all of that stuff. But the way they handled that, Pickens understand. All right, man, he just did a little, I won't do it again. I got it. You know what I mean? It's not a problem. They know they got something going. And, yeah, they look good. He is playing elite. You can be elite by beating up on defenses or keeping up with elite quarterbacks. Now, Cincinnati was not an elite defense, but Joe Burrow was an elite quarterback, and he went against a very elite defense, and he still put up 38 points. Yeah. So Russ got to prove he's elite by putting up 44. Nobody was stopping nobody. I got to beat Joe Burrow, and he did that.
I hear what you're saying, but listen, I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment. I'm not going to, because Listen, you just lost to the Cleveland Browns last week where you could barely get the ball upfield.
Divisional game, yeah.
You beat the Ravens where you couldn't even get a touchdown. So that's 2 games right there. And then you probably should have lost to the Washington Commanders the week. That's 3 weeks in a row. And you know who you beat before that? You beat the Jets and the Giants, which you should beat.
But so you're not going to be a prisoner in a moment.
No. So I'm not going to say he's there yet. You know, based on, like, seeing him put up 44 points and barely getting the ball downfield in the last 2 games.
But
we know that.
Paul?
You know, but because you have a great defense and your defense allows you that keeps you in all these games, it makes the players look better. We look at Mahomes. Mahomes hasn't been great this year, but what's been great about Kansas City? The defense. You know, it's just certain things like, think about if Joe Burrow had any type of defense.
Oh, God, we're not doing this.
If they had any type of defense in Cincinnati.
We can ready to do this.
But what makes it scary and good for me is, yeah, they haven't been completely consistent offensively. There's still been some questions. They've had games where they didn't score touchdowns. But the fact that he's able to have a game like this
you see the growth.
is that he's capable of still playing at this level and putting up those kind of numbers, to Michael's point, against an offense that is continuing to score, because your defense is not going to be perfect every single game. That's always my question. The defense is elite. The defense is a Super Bowl level defense. But one of those games, your defense is going to struggle and give up points.
When they go up against elite quarterbacks like Joe Burrow.
Right. Are you able to go and score touchdowns and keep up with them? And that's what we saw yesterday.
You got to match that quarterback.
This is like, let me tell you, this is like one of them games where you know you're going to get your stats. And Keno, you know what I'm talking about. You know certain corners or certain defenses, all right, I was held this game, but I know when I get here, this is going to be a big game.
Well, that's because Cincinnati's defense.
This is going to be a lot of men. I know when I played, as I got older, okay, we playing the Wizards. Okay. I know I'm going to get my numbers back up right here. And it's going to make it all look good at the end. It's going to make it all look good after struggling over here.
He played 6 games.
Oh, he's great. I think he's
played.
He's played. He's good. I'm not putting him in elite company, but he's good enough.
Well, let me ask you this.
He's good enough to win you a Super Bowl.
Let me ask you this.
He's good enough.
He played 6 games, Joy.
Yeah.
He won how many?
5.
And the guy on the other side of him played how many games?
He played all the games.
And how many did he win?
His defense lost them all.
Don't do that, though. But you can't do that, though.
99 points in the last 3 games. They lost all 3 of them.
They lost all 3 of them.
Cincinnati, Joe Burrow put up 33 points a game.
Lost all of them.
Playing great.
It doesn't matter how great he's playing.
All.
They're losing.
Yeah, because
he's winning.
He plays one side of the ball.
He's winning. No, he gets the credit.
No.
For winning.
He does. He's definitely playing at an elite level.
Yeah, come on, Paul, stop.
Michael brought up George Pickens, who received 2 15-yard dead ball penalties in the win. After the game, Mike Tomlin talked about what he expects from Pickens. We are very blessed on this show to have the spokesperson for outrageous wide receiver behavior, Keyshawn
Michael Irvin.
Johnson.
Go take it away.
Take it away.
Blessed to have him. Just
Well, all right, fine. We'll start with Michael. How do you like how Tomlin is handling Pickens?
I love that dude, man. I love him. You got to hear that now and be careful with it. If you're anyone else, you can't say that. You can't do that. No way any other coach can go up there and say, he has to grow up. That's the only clip they're going to clip out and put everywhere. He has to grow up. And that will cause all kinds of problems between Mike Tomlin, between that coach and George Pickens. Not this dude. And that's what he's saying right there. He knows he has a target on his back. I told him how good he is, how great he is, and what people are going to do. I need him just to grow up to not do that. So he does it from a place, I'm trying to help you, not me crowding over you, trying to be dominion over you, where now you got to clap back because your boy is saying, I punked you. All of that stuff. You see what I mean? The way he handles everything is just incredible. And he hugs this kid on the sideline. When I was there, he talks about this kid has so much potential, Michael. I just want him to play the whole game and learn the whole field, not just going up the field, but play the whole game and learn the whole field. I love the way he handles all of his players. We're talking about Pickens. Antonio Brown said the same thing. I was at my best when I was with him. He brought the best out of me. I can just appreciate that.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin is handling him the right way. And he said the thing about growing up. He's still young. He's not 35 years old playing the receiver position. He's still learning how to play the receiver position. And I think when you get caught up sometimes, what happens in these games, especially rivalry games, dudes see you a couple times a year, they chirping at you. Now you finally have an opportunity to expose them because you got a quarterback that can deliver the football to you. So you get caught up.
You're right.
You get caught up in the moment.
The dude been talking all that noise when I had Justin Fields back there. No, I got mine.
I got mine.
You're right. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
It changes your whole thought process. And look, did he need to step over the dude and drop the football? No, but that's a mistake that he'll learn from because that could be a costly mistake that can hurt you in playoffs time. All of a sudden, you make a big catch that's setting them up for the go-ahead field goal to win the game, and next thing you know, you got a 15-yard penalty because you just did something a little extra that you probably shouldn't have.
That ever happened to you?
Anyway,
That's a yes.
It happened to me. I took, as Parcells said, you just took 4 points off the board because we was in position to score a touchdown, and I was defending. In my view, I was defending the late Terry Glenn, a teammate of mine, when Earl Little dove on top of him after he slid on the ground, and I saw it from a distance, and I ran over and slightly removed Earl Little with my foot. Really, just moved him off of Terry lightly.
Moved him with your foot.
Lightly, just a little
So
little
you moved
tap.
him from one space on the field
like a broom
to the other with your
get up
foot.
off my
And they
team.
only gave you a penalty.
Yeah, they gave me 15
Would
yards.
some people describe that action as perhaps a kick?
You know what? Some people probably would. I wouldn't, but I think George Pickens is going to learn from some stuff.
Probably electric slided on him. So.
Yeah, it was a light. It wasn't a hard kick. It was a light kick.
He said, I wouldn't describe it as a kick.
Yeah.
You like how Mike Tomlin's handling him?
Yeah, absolutely, because this is an emotional game, and sometimes as young players we get emotional. And like he and Michael said, listen, this can cost us in a moment where we're trying to win a Super Bowl, young fella. So let's get this out the way now. Maybe you're glad this is happening right now. So now you learn from it. Because we don't want this to happen where we're in a divisional game or a playoff game where it's 2 minutes to go and these type of things happen. So this is great, and I'm glad it happens now.
And he handled it the right way.
Right. We got to get him the lesson without losing him because we can't go anywhere without him.
Because some coaches, they would have screamed and hollered and treated him in such a way that you, like Michael said, you're going to lose him.
Right.
Well, you have to know that's the other part of coaching that is, for the most part, until a coach has built up a reputation with players and coaches and has been doing it long enough to really have enough people say that about him. There's like monikers we use for coaches, like players, coaches, tough, old school, all those things. But really understanding that everybody does not react the same to instruction, does not react the same to criticism, and how you have to approach people, especially when they're in an emotional state, despite the fact that they are, in fact, men and they are not supposed to have emotions. They do. And you can't reach somebody when they're emotional and you're not matching the energy that they need to calm down. And to your point, you lose them, then they are not listening to you. Yeah. You need that player to operate at a high level, and that takes a very high level of emotional intelligence as a coach to understand your personnel that way, too, which is why he is so great.
So good.
You put your players in the best position to win when you do that. It is a relationship and a communication job as well, as outside of the X's and O's. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.